Speaking for the populace.
The Seventh Assembly will be the best.
Running effective oversight, setting the target and striving for excellence. Watch out for Ekiti House of Assembly TV Online, the voice of Ekiti Parliament and the voice of the people. EKHA-TV, the eyes have it. Ekiti State House of Assembly Television, EKHA-TV, establishing firm commitment.
Under my leadership, will be committed to working collaboratively with the executive arm.
Speaking for the populace.
The Seventh Assembly will be the best.
Running effective oversight, setting the target and striving for excellence. Watch out for Ekiti House of Assembly TV Online, the voice of Ekiti Parliament and the voice of the people. EKHA-TV, the eyes have it. Ekiti State House of Assembly Television, EKHA-TV, establishing firm commitment.
Under my leadership, will be committed to working collaboratively with the executive arm.
Speaking for the populace.
The Seventh Assembly
Ekiti State House of Assembly Television, EKHA-TV, establishing firm commitment.
Under my leadership, will be committed to working collaboratively with the executive arm.
Speaking for the populace.
The Seventh Assembly will be the best.
Running effective oversight, setting the target and striving for excellence. Watch out for Ekiti House of Assembly TV Online, the voice of Ekiti Parliament and the voice of the people. EKHA-TV, the eyes have it. Ekiti State House of Assembly Television, EKHA-TV, establishing firm commitment.
Under my leadership, will be committed to working collaboratively with the executive arm.
Speaking for the populace.
The Seventh Assembly will be the best.
Running effective oversight, setting the target and striving for excellence. Watch out for Ekiti House of Assembly TV Online, the voice of Ekiti Parliament and the voice of the people. EKHA-TV, the eyes have it. Ekiti State House of Assembly Television.
Let us pray. Almighty, Almighty God, ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions, so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love, and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. So help us, God. Amen. Please, I would like you to adjust everything and properly. And please, before we come at all, you should have checked all the mics before we sit. Thank you. Well, without wasting time, I want us to go straight to the votes and proceedings for our last sitting, and that is the votes and proceedings for Tuesday, the 5th day of March, 2024. And may I quickly greet Honorable Femi Fatunla. Thank God, Honorable Fakunleke. I greet you. Thank you. You can understand why I'm greeting him. Not because he's from Ikole Constituency 1, but look at his side. So let's look at the votes and proceedings for Tuesday, the 5th day of March, 2024. I take page 1. Page 2. Honorable Femi Akindele.
You right, Honorable Speaker, dear colleagues, good morning. Honorable Speaker, my name is Honorable Femi Olahinrewaju Akindele. I represent the entire celestial and terrestrial bodies of Rep. Constituency 1. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm taking us to page 2. I want to observe and line 1 of page 2, plenary sitting. In my opinion, I think plenary session will be better instead of plenary sitting, or simply put, plenary. But if you want to add anything, plenary session will be better, in my opinion. Thank you.
Well, let me agree with you on that we change it to plenary session. Let's change it to plenary session. Plenary session commenced at 11:40 a.m. Yes, any other? Page 3. Page 3. Page 4. And that is the last page. Oh, Honorable Tunde Idowu.
Good morning, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues of Ekiti State House of Assembly. I am Honorable Tunde Idowu. I represent the Ikere Constituency 2. Mr. Speaker, in the votes and proceedings that we are considering, I want to point out a wrong spelling from page 3.
Go ahead, please.
Under order of the day, A line 2, the first line of the debate, honorable members spoke extensively on the pros and cons of the state local control. I think that pros should be PROSE. So that spelling seems I can't be corrected.
I think it's correct. Pros and cons. It's pros and cons. Yes, is correct. Yeah. So in the absence of no further observation, can I call on the leader of the House to move the motion for the adoption of these votes and proceedings?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
My dear colleagues,
Good afternoon. I'm Honorable Tolu Lokwege, and I represent Ekiti Southwest Constituency 2. Right Honorable Speaker, having perused the vote and proceedings for Tuesday, 5th March 2024, and made some minor amendments, I want to move a motion that this vote and proceedings for Tuesday, 5th of March 2024 be adopted as a working document of this Honorable House. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Johnson Oye Kolabode Adeoye, Ekiti West 2.
Right Honorable Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues, Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by the leader of the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to raise an issue we have debated about earlier under this motion seconding the motion moved. And that is about the observation of Honorable Femi Akindele about plenary sitting or plenary session. I think it is proper we leave plenary sitting to stay, because if you look at page 4, under adjournment, the House do adjourn plenary sitting. We cannot adjourn session. And if we had adopted session at the commencement, it means we have to be consistent. But session is about the 4 years we have to spend, and it is divided into 4 sessions, which is...
Okay, Honorable Joba, Johnson Oyekolabode Adeoye, you are to second, kindly second, and while you are seconding, that also is in view that the sitting of that day. So we have plenary session, but it's a sitting for that day. And that is noted, and let's also note it as sitting, and let's leave it as sitting. Thank you. Please second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I hereby rise to second the motion that the vote and proceeding of Tuesday, 5th of March 2024 be adopted as a working document of this Honorable House.
So on that note, I put the question. And let's quickly try our part. If you're in support that the House adopt these votes and proceedings for Tuesday, please can you reduce the echo for Tuesday, 5th of March 2024? to be the working document of this house, you press yes. And if you're against, you press no. Well, we have to sign in first, so please let's do that. Yes. I'm not saying you should press yes. I'm just saying so you can vote. And who is that? Yes. After the poll, the result is 13-1. So the yes have it. Thank you. I hope that no is not from Honorable Latif Oluwole Akanle. Yes. Thank you. Well, I will want to take announcements if you from members, and any announcements from member? Yes, leader of the house.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My dear colleagues, I'm Honorable Tolu Lokwege. I represent the Southwest Constituency 2. And by the grace of God, the majority leader of this 7th Assembly. Right Honorable Speaker, esteemed colleagues, I rise today with a very sorrowful heart, a very heavy heart, to address this hallowed chamber on a matter of utmost importance and solemnity. Before I proceed, it's imperative to inform you that Honorable Tejo Guiga sent a notification informing us of the death of the chairman of our party in the person of Barrister Paul Omotosho. Honorable Teju Okwega is the member representing Boeing Ayekre constituency. That's the constituency of our late party chairman. Regrettably, Honorable Tejo Okwega is unavoidably absent in this gathering today. However, I must stress that our absence was duly approved by the leadership of the 7th Assembly, having observed all the necessary protocols. With a heavy heart, I confirm the passing of our party chairman, Barrister Paul Omotocho, whose leadership and dedication have left an indelible mark on this state. Barrister Paul Omotosho's leadership and acumen contributed to the internal cohesion of our party. In this solemn moment, it is important to reflect on the numerous activities and contributions of Barrister Paul Omotosho. His commitment to the ideals of the party, his tireless effort in service to our community, all these have undoubtedly shaped the image and the course of our political landscape. On behalf of the State House of Assembly, the bureaucracy, and the Commission, I extend our deepest condolence to the family, friends, and loved ones of Barrister Paul Omotosho. May they find solace in the memories shared and strength in the
Hey, Honorable, are you announcing or you are giving a... Just announce, please. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker,
we need it's just an announcement.
With your candid permission, I will plead if this Honorable House can...
Honorable, please. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I'm aware that Honorable Tejo Kuyiga called you, and Honorable Tejo Kuyiga is not around at the moment. With the permission of this house, she's outside. Unfortunately, she stood there when the unfortunate news of the demise of our leader, not just a party leader, but a state leader, and that is in person of Barrister Paul Omotosho, who happens to be the chairman APC in Ekiti State. And as Honorable Tejo also called me, and I was informed that he has sent a message through the leader of the House, Honorable Toluige, to inform us, being the representative of that constituency, constituency of the demise of Barrister Paul Omotosho. And it is on record that after our sitting last week, all of us, or after we went to bed, we only woke up the following morning to the news of this, or a shocking news. It was a rude shock for us of Barrister Paul Omotosho. We will be waiting for the family to provide us with details of his burial arrangement. But I believe that if we are given the opportunity today to speak about Barrister Paul Omotosho, we might not, today won't be enough for us, but we'll wait for a night of tribute to do that. So the announcement to the House is just about this unfortunate sudden departure of that energetic, cerebral, affable and amiable leader, Barrister Paul Omotosho. It is our own prayers that the Almighty will grant him eternal rest. Members will be in brief once we get final details. Not that we don't have anything, but we need to also be abreast of the final details of his burial arrangement. And I will enjoy all of us to be part of that burial arrangement, our funeral service of Barrister Paul Omotosho. May his soul rest in peace. I said, may his soul rest in peace. So, I know you want to ask for a 1 minute silence. We will do that. Yes, we are going to do that to honor his memory. So, for 1 minute, I will suggest we have a 1 minute silence for him. Thank you. rest in peace. Yes, Honorable Ayo Adigbite, can you quickly brief us? We asked you to visit and some other people to visit Agbewa Farm yesterday in relation to the investors, foreign investors, and their complaint around that area. Can you give us details of your visits? Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Ayodeji Adegbite, representing Ado Constituency 1. We visited Ipao, where Agbewa Farms is situated. Agbewa Farm has cultivated about 500 hectares of land. They planted cassava. This is their second planting. I think they had a harvest last year, and they exceeded their expectations. We noticed that majority of the staff of Agbewa Farm are either from Ikpao, Esun, or the neighboring towns in that area, which has helped the area in terms of employment. They have also done some CSR in the neighborhood. They cleared some roads for the neighborhood. So we're really impressed with what they are doing in that area. We also spoke with the citizens of Ipao and Esun to ask them if they have more expectations from them. All of them seem to be impressed with their role, and then so we would like to encourage them to do more as they've been doing. Also, the farm, from report that we had, the farm, when they opened up the farm, the neighborhood used to be dangerous. Kidnappers they used to hide in those bushes. Whereas that now, because of the farm situation there is no, reduced kidnapping in that area. So the only difficulty that Agbewa Farm seems to be facing is that during rainy season, they have issues with the road. It's quite difficult to navigate during rainy season. So they're begging if we can talk to the government if there's anything they can assist them to do, because they're actually opening more space to farm more in that area. For them to have 500 hectares of land in that area, that's a massive investment. I can't remember how many metric tons of cassava they said they harvested the last season, and they're hoping to get more this period. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Ayodeji Adeyinka Adegbite. What we are going to do, I believe the Committee on Investment, Committee on Security, and Committee on Agri, we also need to work together to also look into the Ekiti Agri Processing Zone. How we make that place more attractive to investors. We need to see what is happening around that zone. Committee on Investment, Committee on Security, and Committee on Agriculture. You have to work together, and let's see how we can work as a house for investors, for that place to be to see an enabling environment. Honorable Ayodegbite has just mentioned around issue of road, issue of security, and they are very germane for investors to come in. So those three committees should work on that. And you can get further terms of reference at our parliamentary meeting. Thank you. Yes. Any other announcements? Now, in the absence of no further announcement, may I call on Honorable Ayo Adegbite to quickly present the petition written by Mr. Patrick Ekuoko, your constituent. Can you quickly present it?
Okay, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Ayo Adegbite, representing Ado Constituency 1. I rise to present this petition this morning written by Mr. Patrick Ekuko, a resident of Ado Ekiti. This Mr. Patrick bought a piece of land in 2013 from the Akogun family, situated in CJ Street in Ado Ekiti. He started using this land and he planted some things on the land. Since then, for almost 10 years, he's been using the land. The Akogun family gave him a receipt when he bought that land for 250,000 naira. So all of a sudden in 2024, somebody went to fence the land, and then he investigated and realized that it was his neighbor that fenced it around. He had done a foundation on the land before, and the foundation was uprooted by this neighbor. So he investigated. He realized that it was a member of the said family that sold him the land that went to sell again to that his neighbor. So that's why he wrote to the Honorable House to help him intercede and help him to reclaim his land. So I submit to this House for necessary consideration. Thank you.
Yes, Leader of the House, please can you just quickly move that the document, the petition be adopted as the working document of this House?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And my dear colleagues, I'm Honorable Tolu Lokwaege. I represent the Southwest Constituency 2. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to move a motion that the petition submitted by the Honorable Member representing Ado, Honorable Ayodeji Adegbite, be adopted as a working document of this Honorable House. I so move.
Okay, any seconder to that? Yes, Honorable Wale Latif Akanle. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the petition, the report of the petition committee be adopted as a working document of this Honorable House. So I second. Thank you.
Voice votes. If you are in support that this document, the petition written by Patrick Ekuoko, be adopted as a working document of this, I say aye. Aye. For against say nay, the High have it. On that note, without wasting time, this petition is committed to Committee on Public Petition to look into it, and within 2 weeks, the committee should report its findings and recommendations to this House. Thank you. Any matter of urgent public importance? Any matter of urgent public importance? Yes, Honorable Oladele Olaoye Ogushaki, Ekiti East 1.
Honorable Speaker, I still remain my humble self, Honorable Ogushaki Oladele Olaoye. I represent the good people of Ekiti East Constituency 1. I arrived this morning to raise a concern I experienced yesterday at Exit, where I was there for a medical assessment. I have it on record of waiting for more than 1 hour before I could get access to a doctor in charge of abdominal scan. In the hall that we have to wait, we are more than 25 patients there waiting endlessly. We have people laying on the floor that comes around with an emergency circumstances. And I asked several times and I was informed the doctor is on a tour. I wonder when people come to an emergency hospital with a very serious illness that could be saved, that will need accelerated response from a doctor, and the waiting time could be up to an hour before they can get medical assistance. This usually leads to untimely death at the hospital. And also, if you have to go to the registrar, if you want to register for your card, that process alone takes about 30 minutes. I will employ this honorable house to look critically into these cases. We need to improve more on our healthcare system for a rapid response so that our people will not be suffering and dying untimely death at exit. I so submit. Thank you.
Entertain one or two comments. Yes, Honorable Barrister Princess Iyabo Fakile Okeme.
Good morning, the Right Honorable Speaker of Ekiti State House of Assembly, my distinguished colleagues, good morning. My name is Honorable Barrister Iyabo Fakile Okeme, and I represent the good people of Ilejemeje constituency. I would like to lend my voice to support the matter of urgent public importance as raised by Honorable Dele Ogunshakin. We've had series of feedbacks from the happenings in Ekiti State Teaching Hospital. Only yesterday, I was in a small gathering, and in fact, it was a tale of woe from one person to another. Experiences of people, and with all sense of humility and respect. I want to say, from the report I had, I'm a lawyer, I have not substantiated it, but from the reports I got concerning even our immediate past state chairman, I heard that the time he got to the hospital and they said he should go and get registered and all that and all that.
Can we just, that might not be, we cannot speak to hearsay. Yeah, let's just.
Anyway,
okay.
Experiences of people that have come to my notice, people have come to me, Honorable, please help us to do something. I took my father there, my father died. I took my sister there, he died. This person, they gave an injection, and at the end of the day, the person developed complication and died. Though those people might have an underlying ailment, but I think it is about time that whole organization is thoroughly shaken up, and let's get them audited properly, so that the lives of our people can be saved. Because that place is a public establishment. People, so many of our people cannot afford to go to private hospitals. So they are seen as the last hope of the masses. And those places should be seen as safe for our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Fakunle. Okay, I call on Honorable Tokwe Lunge, but they say Ewu Beloko Lunge, and they now concluded with Lunge Ganfuarai Ewuni. Please speak.
Honorable Speaker, fellow parliamentarians, my name is Lunge Temitope Ademola, and I represent the good people of Oye Constituency 1. Right Honorable Speaker, I rise this morning to also lend my voice to what Honorable Ogunshakin has observed, rightly too, about the state of our hospitals vis-a-vis public institutions. Right Honorable Speaker, I will just cite some examples. It's a notorious fact that how our people that works in some of these public institutions handle the institutions is not encouraging, Mr. Speaker. In the 60s, I'm sure some of us must have read that the King of Saudi comes to Nigeria to come and treat himself at University College Hospital Ibadan. Meaning that in those days, we had world-class institutions, especially educational institutions and health institutions, for presidents of the world to come to Nigeria to come and treat themselves. But what we have right now, Nigeria contributes hugely to medical tourism, especially to India, in billions every year. Mr. Speaker, you realize that we have lost most of our professionals, most of our doctors and nurses to the Japa syndrome. What am I saying, Mr. Speaker? If you go to any of these health institutions, the public health institutions today in Nigeria, they are almost empty. Again, this speaks to the attitude of our health workers. There are a lot of needless deaths that happens in our health institutions due to the lackadaisical attitude of the staff, doctors and nurses. Without prejudice, Mr. Speaker, I think it is time that we should encourage these people working there to be alive to their responsibilities. A lot of people die needlessly in most of these public institutions, and that's why you see the emergence of when we were growing up, Mr. Speaker, you can hardly see a private hospital being patronized because the public institutions are functioning well. The Exute is one of the best when we were growing up in Izadu Ekiti. But what do we have today? The institutions are not properly handled by the people that are working there. So even the doctors themselves, they refer patients to their private clinics. They refer patients, it happens every day. And most people will prefer to go and take medication or to go and take treatment from their private clinics because they have made the public institutions unattractive. And that's why we have private schools, private Speaker, I would like to conclude by saying that it is high time we call all these health workers, doctors, nurses, lab technicians, and even their handlers, that they should be allowed to their responsibilities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Takwelunge. Without burdening us with much rhetoric on this, what we are going to do, I am going to refer this matter to Committee on Health, without prejudice to the committee set up by the Ministry of Health. The Committee on Health will also look into the activities of the caregivers, because that is what they are supposed to be. And I believe they should be indeed caregivers. The complaints, I've had a lot of complaints, all sorts of complaints, but for us, we must also hear from the other side in the spirit of audiotrem patent, that the other side also must be heard. So we can't just base our decisions on hearsays, we can't base it on what people tell us, so we must hear from the other side. And the committee should also work on if there are areas that things are not working well, with the hope of finding solutions that we can also, that can become part of our resolutions in this house, that we can give to the relevant authorities, the government, the ministry, even the hospitals in Ekiti State. So the Committee on Health will have just a mandate of 1 week to work and to furnish the House with their findings and recommendations. Thank you. Leader of the House, can you please take us through the order of the day?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Good afternoon, my dear colleagues, once again. I'm Honorable Tolu Lokwaige, and I represent the Southwest Constituency 2. Right, Honorable Speaker, on the order paper for Tuesday, 12th March 2024, with me, the order of the day has 4 items. Items number 1 is a bill for a law to establish the Ekiti State Youth Development Trust Fund for the growth, development, and advancement of youth in the state and for other connected matters 2024. Item number 2 is a motion calling on the state government to reintroduce higher school certificate HSC education system in Ekiti State. The mover of this motion is nobody but, no other person but our Honorable Jacob Adeyemi Awoniyi, representing Mumba 2, and the seconder is Honorable Lateef Oluwole Akanle, representing Ekiti East 2. Item number 3 is a report of the Committee on Public Petitions on a petition titled Appeal for the Review of My Wrongful Dismissal from the Ekiti State Civil Service on the account of loss and diversion of government revenue and fraudulent practice, submitted by Messrs. Babayemi Michael Ojo and Alimi Ambali Oladejo. And items number 4, which is the last, is adjournment. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We'll quickly move straight as I call on the clerk of the House to take the first reading of a bill for a law to establish the State Youth Development Trust Fund for the growth, development, and advancement of youth in the state and for other connected matters 2024.
Mr. Speaker, sir, distinguished honorable members, a bill for a law to establish the Ekiti State Youth Development Trust Fund for the growth, development, and advancement of youth in the Ekiti State and for other connected matter therewith 2024, being the first reading. Thank you, sir.
So we take the item 2, and that is a motion calling on the state government to reintroduce higher school certificate HSC education system in Ekiti State. So I call on the mover first to move the motion.
The Right Honorable Speaker, sir. Distinguished honorable members of the House. I'm Honorable Jacob Adeyemi Awoniyi, representing Mumba Constituency 2. I say good morning to you all.
Just move a motion to be heard. That's the first thing.
I rise this morning to seek for permission to be heard on a motion calling on the state government to reintroduce higher school certificate HSC education system in Ekiti State.
Who is seconding it? Honorable Oluwole Akanle.
I rise this morning to second the motion being moved by Honorable Awoyemi, a motion calling on the state government to introduce higher school certificate HSC education system in Ekiti State. So I second.
Well, I put the question. Please this time use your part. If you're in support that Honorable Jacob Adeyemi Awoniyi be heard to move a motion calling on the state government to reintroduce higher school certificate education system in Ekiti State, press yes. And if you're against, press nay. Okay. The ears have it. So, Honorable Jacob Adeyemi Awoniyi, please can you lead the debate on this motion?
The Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished honorable members, I am Honorable Jacob Adeyemi Awoniyi, representing Member Constituency 2. I wish to move a motion calling on the state government to reintroduce higher school certificate HSC education system in Ekiti State. Mr. Speaker and distinguished honorable members, we are all aware that Ekiti State has a rich history of providing quality education to its citizens. It has been recognized as an educational hub within the country, with several tertiary institutions and a commendable literacy rate. However, recent trends have indicated a decline in the quality of education, particularly at the secondary school level. In order to address this alarming situation, I'm proposing to reintroduce the higher school certificate, HSC education system. Whereas HSC education system served as a critical bridge between secondary education and higher studies in Nigeria until its discontinuation. Whereas it has allowed students to specialize in their desired fields while preparing them for tertiary level learning. Whereas, despite its advantages, the HSC system was phased out in Ekiti State due to the introduction of the Universal Basic Education (UBE) policy, which aimed to increase access to basic education for all. Whereas, however, the drawbacks of this policy have become evident over time, leading to a decline in educational standards and the need for a new focus on quality education. Whereas, reintroduction of HSC system in Ekiti State is crucial to address the declining educational standard and restore the state's reputation as an educational powerhouse. Whereas, the state has a unique opportunity to reclaim its status as a leader in education, position itself as a hub of intellectual growth and innovation. Whereas, by emphasizing subject specialization and providing a more advanced curriculum, the HSC system will better equip students for tertiary education and the demands of the modern workforce. Whereas, it will foster a competitive environment, promoting healthy academic rivalry among students, which stimulates academic excellence. Whereas, it will significantly enhance the quality of education by allowing students to delve deeper into subjects of their interest. Whereas, this specialization will foster a generation of well-rounded individuals with in-depth knowledge and expertise. Whereas, the emphasis on critical thinking, independent research, and practical application of knowledge within the HSC system challenges of the future workforce. Whereas, the introduction of education will attract and retain talented students within the state, preventing brain drain and creating a pool of highly skilled individuals who can contribute to the growth and development of Ekiti State. Whereas, it will also encourage the establishment of such oriented institutions and industries, bringing numerous economic benefits to the state, technological advancement. Whereas, the introduction of HSC education system in Ekiti State will fertilize the state's educational landscape. Whereas, there will be no additional funding by government, since experienced teachers handling SS3 classes can conveniently handle the HSC curriculum as we had in the past. Whereas, the project will surely engage our youth that cannot make admission through UTME and equip them for university. I so submit.
call on at least to also, since you have seconded the motion and he has led the debate, I will allow you, Honorable Lateef Oluwole Akanle, to also take the second, make your comment, your debate. Let's hear from you why we should allow this motion to stand. Thank you.
Speaker, for this wonderful opportunity to stand this morning to support the motion ably moved by my colleague, Honorable Adeyemi Awoniyi. He has submitted brilliantly the reasons why this introduction of HSC should be supported by the state government. While adopting into to what he has given to us, I want to quickly read the last part of the introduction, which are the suggestions that are made by him. Number one, that the government should upgrade 3 secondary schools representing the 3 central districts to run HSC in the state. I want to emphasize this particular one, that while trying to establish these secondary schools, we're trying to introduce HSC in these 3 secondary schools in our 3 central districts, that Ekiti East local government, which is from Southern Central District, should be one of the local government to be taken into consideration, because we have wonderful secondary schools that can handle a program like this in my local government. Number 2, that students admitted to the program should be made to pay certain reasonable amount of money as student fees to be decided by the government. 3, that investment in educational structure such as laboratories, libraries, and specialized facilities should be prioritized. Number 4, that increased funding through public-private partnerships and government allocations will help ensure smooth implementation of this HSC system. Number 5, that stakeholders, including teachers, parents, and community leaders, should be engaged in open dialogue to address concerns, seek consensus, and build support for the initiative. In addition to this, I want to bring to our notice that the students or graduates of this program will have ample opportunity to gain admission into reputable universities outside the country, like London School of Economics, like Cambridge universities. They do give due considerations to students that are having A-level certificates. In the past, when we used to have this program, graduates from these schools used to be exceptionals in their pursuit of university's education career. Most of them usually come out with flying colors, 2-1, first class, and all that. And they go for very lucrative courses, like engineering courses, law courses, medical courses, and all that. So it's a good thing if the government can have a look of these suggestions that have been brought forward by Honorable Adeyemi Awoniyi, that HNC, which used to be known as advanced A-levels, should be introduced into our educational system in order to make sure that we have a more robust education opportunities for our upcoming young ones, so that they can have opportunities to be given chance in reputable universities and abroad, apart from those ones that are available in the country. So I submit. Thank you.
Lateef Oluwole Akanle, aka Congo. Well, I think I will also want to hear from other members your views on this bill. So I would like to know, okay, do I have just 2 so that I will... I call on Honorable Femi Akindele. Please, let us know which one is speaking, terrestrial or the celestial.
Right, Honorable Speaker, even in heaven there is education. So celestially, this one is equally involved. Right, Honorable Speaker, thank you for this recognition. My name is Honorable Femi Olanrewaju Akindele. As I often say, I represent the entire celestial and terrestrial bodies of Report Federal Constituency 1. Dear colleagues, I want to salute the courage of Honorable Awoniyi, Jacob Awoniyi, for bringing this motion at this time. I equally want to commend the seconder of the motion, Right Honorable Lateef Akanle. Right Honorable Speaker, this motion on HSC, if adopted, if accepted, it will lead to reawakening. It will lead to educational rebirth. It will lead to even better preparation for advancement in our education journey. For example, a fresh secondary school graduate will be prepared. In fact, the cognitive senses will be well developed. The emotional part of the person will be very developed in preparation for higher education. However, Right Honorable Speaker, without boring you, as recent as 2002, I don't know if Honorable Awoni, if you are aware, there was a national education summit on HSC. As at that time, it was adopted, the stakeholders, education stakeholders adopted it in 2002, that it should be reintroduced into our education system. However, since that time, it's still gathering dust on the shelf. Right Honorable Speaker, my own approach to this issue is that just the way we can operate in silos in several other sectors of our life, our education system required universal approach. Ekiti State cannot just adopt this alone. This motion is very good, very lofty, very timely. However, Ekiti State cannot afford to be in silos. Because we are talking about education, the education you are going to give here in Ekiti State must be what that is tenable in other states. Our neighboring states, Ondo State, Osun State, Kogi State, Kwara State. It should be what all those states should be able to key in. I just want to admonish Right Honorable Speaker, if you can take this further. Thankfully, we have you as the chairman of the Southwest Speakers. Thankfully, we have you as the national officer of the Nigerian Conference of Speakers. If you can take this up at the national level, it will be better for us. But at the state level, we can't afford to operate in silos. This is my submission, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you for the beautiful submission and the way you also navigate and come to your conclusion. I call on Honorable Tudeidu.
Right Honorable Speaker, sir, distinguished colleagues of the State House of Assembly, I am Honorable Tudeidu. I represent Ikere Constituency 2. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to commend the mover of the motion calling for the reintroduction of HNC. As much as I appreciate the mover and the seconder and whoever has contributed to this motion, I, Honorable Tunde Ibu, I want to differ from whatever area of reason this motion is coming from. Mr. Speaker, I want to say HNC education system is outdated. Time has passed. We are now operating universal basic education. It has to be uniform. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm to you that our education system, no matter the level you reach in education, you will be given a degree. Mr. Speaker, the meaning of degree, if you can, as an engineer, I will try to explain. Degree is a small circle, very tiny circle, put on a zero. It implies that whatever knowledge you have in your field of education is very small. You are only given a degree in whatever area you study. What am I trying to say, Mr. Speaker? Our education system has a set out prerequisite and requisite knowledge anybody must have. The education system of Nigeria, which is 334, Mr. Speaker, has categories of knowledge you must acquire at every stage of this system. Mr. Speaker, HNC is a makeup policy, a makeup arrangement for those that are going for higher institution of learning. But today, Mr. Speaker, you agree with me that we have preparation classes, we have remedials all around. The universities they organize remedials now to make up for those that are coming so that they can acquire required criteria, prerequisite knowledge to enter into the next education system. That has in any way remove that HNC. Mr. Speaker, you will discover that even these days, NCE is not SCE today now. It's not people doesn't even want to go to NCE again, because as I've said, you have series of preparatory classes for people that are going higher in education. I want to agree that the state is an education hub, as we know, for we have the highest number of professors in Nigeria, and with the legacy of being the pace setter in education in Ekiti State has never been eroded. And I want to say there are some problems that has led to the level of education we have in our dear state or even in Nigeria. There are some factors that are responsible for our education institution producing some standard graduates. There are reasons why our education are deteriorating. Those are the areas we need to address, Mr. Speaker. Those are the areas, because I have some points here I want to use in order to support the fact that we don't need HNC anymore. What we need, Mr. Speaker, is to advocate for the use of instructional materials in our education system, so that we can be able to teach the students to the level they are expected to be taught to. We need to make compulsory the use of our mother or local languages when we teach some critical practical aspect of our education. Those are the things we need, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say again that as beautiful as that motion is, it's outdated. The time has passed. People are moving. This is we are in technological advanced environment now. There's advancement in every area of education. So that is my submission, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Tudedo, and I also want to appreciate you because you do not allow any volcanic eruption this morning. So I call on Right Honorable Akim Jamiu, Irepodu Ifelodu 2.
Right Honorable Speaker, I'm Right Honorable Akim Jamiu. I represent Irepodu Ifelodu Constituency 2. Let me start by correcting the impression of the last speaker that HSC is outdated. No, it's not outdated. I'm a product of HSC. I attended Ondo State College of Art and Science, Career Akoko, and I can tell you that HSC, that is higher school certificates, is another level, a bit above school cert, and is in between. It's like a stopgap between school cert and the university, and is one of the reasons that we don't have HSC again. It's one of the reasons why we have a very low quality of education. Take a look at the people who attended, who possess HSC. You will see that it's a very rigorous syllabus, and it has nothing to do with 6334. You can still have your 6334. You can finish from SS3 and still proceed to have your higher school certificate, which will expose you to a more rigorous syllabus that even and go and take a look at the percentage of students who graduated from HSC schools. 99% of them will get admission into the university. I can tell you that for free because it's direct entry. And you cannot compare HSC to NCE. NCE is degree. HSC, you still want to further. That is advanced levels. You want to further your education, and it's going to, and the kind of rigorous academic exercise that takes place in HSC is not available in NCE. It's not available. I can tell you that for free because I have been a participant. I've been a beneficiary of that. And if we introduce it like the mover of this motion said, the syllabus is not outdated. It is WAEC that will conduct it. And once you pass, once you have the counting points from A to E, that's how they count. And with 7 or 8 points, you gain admission into the university. I think during our time, law was 10 points, 11 points, but you go in direct. So it's not outdated. It will only improve our education, and it will increase the chances of our students gaining admission. And it's going to prevent, instead of our students, when they don't make their jump once, they start rolling about, start joining Yahoo. If they enroll into A levels, it's going to keep them busy, and it's going to improve their academic knowledge and prowess, and it's going to give them the chance of gaining admission through direct entry into the university. So I want to join those who strongly support the reintroduction of HSC. But in doing this, and I'm very sure that the person who introduced this he used to be an education official, so he knows what he's talking about. He retired as a director in the Ministry of Education, so he must know his onions before he can bring up this kind of bill. But I want to lend my voice, and I want to strongly support the introduction of certificate education in Ekiti State.
We want us to, okay, thank you. It's working. I want to, Honorable Joba, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to call you. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to call you. I'm sorry. And that reason you will know now. I don't want you to obviate what I have already put in place here. I know there are comments, the debates, which is about the pros and cons of this motion. I think this is one of the first motion that will be having diverse view. And I won't also make any comment on it, so that I won't want to prejudice what I want to do. And what I'm going to do, ordinarily, Committee on Education, because I want to refer this motion to a committee. Ordinarily, Committee on Education is supposed to undo it, but the two pillars of justice. One of it is audiotre patem, the other one is nemo judes in consua sua, so that you don't be a judge in your own cause. Having known that the mover of this motion is the chairman education committee, so the best I can do is to set up an ad hoc committee to go and look at the pros and cons, the desirability, the cost implication, if at all it's going to be allowed. Are we to also form policies for government? So let them just go and look at it. So I will announce what is the observation?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to dwell on the subject matter because I'm not permitted under our laws. My name is Honorable Femi Olanrewaju Akindele. My observation is that I want to plead with you, Right Honorable Speaker, from the chair, to allow members to deliberate on this issue. Let them hear them before you commit to.
Sorry, Honorable Femi Akindele. The only
I'm not speaking for Honorable Johnson.
No, please. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Honorable Femi Akindele.
Thank you.
Members have deliberated. The only person that I didn't allow, and I said for a reason, and I think you should wait for that reason. The reason will be known soon. I am going to set up an ad hoc committee to be chaired by Honorable Johnson Oyekola Bode Adeoye. And if I allow him to speak, that might alter what I have already put in place. And that is why I said no, I will not allow him, either for or against. And now, as the chairman, whatever you have, you must also put it aside to listen to opinions. Even you will see, invite the mover and discuss. I think I can give you that terms of reference. Discuss with Ministry of Education on this to just relevant agencies and authorities. And please also note that your committee only has 2 weeks, just 2 weeks to report. So, and also members include Honorable Barrister Iyabo Fakunle Okieme, Honorable Omotayo Emmanuel Babatunde, Honorable Femi Fatula, and Honorable Demola Martins Ojo, 5-man committee. Please note that you are to report to the House in 2 weeks. The clerk of the House will also give you the clerk of the ad hoc committee. So, Mr. Clerk, ensure you provide a clerk for this ad hoc committee. Maybe I should repeat. Honorable Johnson Oyekola Bode Adeoye, the chairman. Honorable Barrister Iyabo Fakunle Okieme, Honorable Omotayo Emmanuel Babatunde, Honorable Femi Fatula, and Honorable Demola Martins Ojo are members of this ad hoc committee. And please let your report come within 2 weeks. Leader of the House.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm proposing that maybe you should consider the clerk of the Committee on Education as a follow-up to this ad hoc committee. The clerk of the Committee on Education.
But I've directed that the clerk should, so you can take that hint. So no problem. Thank you. Yes. I call on the leader this time around to also invite us to the next thing on the agenda.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My dear colleagues, it's been a long day. My name is Honorable Tolu Lokwaige, and I represent the Southwest Constituency 2. The next item is item number 3, and that's the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on petition titled Appeal for the Review of my wrongful dismissal from the State Civil Service. And this is to be taken by the chairman of the House Committee on Public Petitions in the person of Honorable Ayodeji Adegbite.
Honorable Ayodeji Adegbite, can you quickly present your report? Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Ayodeji Adegbite, representing Ado Constituency 1. This is a report on the Committee on Public Petitions, on two petitions titled Appeal for the Wrongful Dismissal from Ekiti State Civil Service on account of loss and diversion of government revenue and fraudulent practice, submitted severally by Mrs. Arabayemi Michael Ojo and Alimi Ambali Oladejo. Preamble. Two petitions centered on loss and diversion of Ekiti State government revenue and fraudulent practice were received by the Committee on Public Petitions on the 24th June 2023. The petitions severally written by Mrs. Arabayemi Michael Ojo and Alimi Ambali Oladejo appealed to this Honorable House to intervene and direct the Civil Service Commission to review the dismissal verdict handed down to them on the account of massive fraudulent practice that occurred in Ekiti State Civil Service in 2010. The petitioners absolved themselves of the allegations leveled against them. They averred that they were framed up. Background information. The Office of the Auditor General of Ekiti State submitted its yearly report for 2010 to the government for consideration and necessary action. In the report, it was discovered that there were leakages, loss, and diversion of government revenue to private accounts, especially by revenue officers saddled with the responsibility of generating, monitoring, and supervising the realization and smooth flow of such revenue to government-designated accounts. The report indicted about 45 officers operating within and outside the state, as the loss was colossal, running into millions of naira. In response to this report, Ekiti State government decided to set up a panel to investigate cases of loss and diversion funds meant for the government to private accounts. All those indicted were invited to appear before the panel, including the two petitioners, to determine their level of culpability or otherwise. The petitioners and others were initially issued queries bordering on loss, diversion, and fraudulent practice in respect of government funds. While Babayemi Michael Ojo alleged of diverting 1,774,000 naira, 978. Sorry, I'll take that again. Ojo was alleged of diverting 1,774,978 naira 62 kobo. That of Alimi Ambali Oladejo stood at 8,703,000 naira only. All those indicted, the petitioners inclusive, made oral and written presentations before the panel. Their presentations were thoroughly examined and critically reviewed before making recommendations on each of the 45 suspects. The report of the panel was submitted to the government for necessary action. In December 2013, the government, through the Civil Service Commission, acted on the recommendation of the panel by issuing dismissal letters to the two petitioners and others found culpable accordingly. Between 2013 and 2023, the two petitioners have petitioned the Civil Service Commission more than 3 times each, requesting for the review of their cases. However, their requests were discountenanced due to lack of merit as there were no new evidences to exonerate them. It is in light of the above that the petitioners resolved to appeal to the 7th Assembly to mediate in their separate but similar cases with a view to exonerate them of the charges pressed against them. The prayer of the petitioners that their wrongful dismissal from Ekiti Civil Service in 2013 on the account of loss, diversion of funds, and fraudulent practice be reviewed with a view to reinstating them to civil service. Methodology. The petitioners and the respondents, that is, the representatives of the State Civil Service Commission, were invited to appear before the committee while the petitioners made self-representation. The Civil Service Commission was represented by Director Personnel, Deputy Director Personnel, and 1 Undersecretary Personnel. Documentary evidences were tendered by both parties in support of their different positions and actions. These include the following: queries issued by both the panel of investigation of Civil Service Commission to the petitioners, requeries, that is, their responses to these queries, letters of appeal for clemency to the Civil Service Commission for the review of their dismissal from service. Respondents submitted the following documents: extracts from the report of the panel of investigation set up to reconsider the cases of 2 petitioners and others in 2010, a compendium on all those that appeared before the probe panel in 2010, other relevant documents. Also, petitioners and respondents made oral submissions in support of their different positions. It is necessary to submit that the 2 petitions, though written separately, were consolidated as they border on fraud committed at the same time. Both passed through the same ordeal at the same time. Above all, Civil Service Commission was the respondent to both petitions. Consequently, it behoves on the committee to consolidate the 2 petitions to minimize cost and time. Submission of Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo. In his submission before the committee, Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo claimed that the letter of dismissal was not meant for him, as the name written on the letter read Ojo Babayemi, a name that has a semblance with his name. He further alleged that he was an assistant chief executive officer on grade level 13, whereas the rank of the officer the letter was addressed to was that of a higher executive officer on grade level 8. That the dismissal letter was addressed wrongly to the Board of Internal Revenue Service, whereas he was a staff in the Accountant General of Ekiti State. That the letter was also received by the chairman of the board as against the Accountant General, who happened to be his boss, and should have received such letter if it was meant for him and not the chairman, Board of Internal Revenue. He further stated that the culprit was most likely to have been one Ojo Babayemi, who was a staff of a consulting firm working for Ekiti State government. He concluded that it was a deliberate and calculated attempt to ease him out of civil service and terminate his blossoming career abruptly. Submission of the respondent, that is the Civil Service Commission. Representatives of the Civil Service Commission submitted as follows: that Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo was the officer in the report of the House Office, that he was the only one with such a name in the entire civil service. Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo was in charge of revenue generation and collection in Ido-Osi local government area of Ekiti State during the said period. His colleagues, name withheld, testified and attested to it that Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo was actively involved in the diversion of accrued revenue from Tunedic to a private account. That the point raised by Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo borders on technicality, that his names were sometimes arranged interchangeably on letters of promotion addressed to him while in service, and he never complained of this arrangement then. The Ojo Babayemi, which the petitioner claimed the letter was meant for, was not known to the civil service and therefore could not have been invited to the probe panel. That the Babayemi Michael Ojo, who the letter of dismissal was meant for, is the Babayemi Michael Ojo, who was a civil servant with Ekiti State government in charge of revenue collection for Ekiti State government in Ido-Osi local government area till 2010, who appeared before the panel of investigation and was indicted by the panel that investigated diversion of government fund in 2010. That there was no mix-up or ambiguity about the personality or identity of the addressee. The dismissal letter was meant for the petitioner. He was the only Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo that appeared before the panel of investigation and was recommended for appropriate punishment. That contrary to the claim of the petitioner, the letter was not meant for a staff of the consultant because Civil Service Commission has no right to discuss someone not under its authority. Submission of Mr. Alimi Ambali Oladejo. The second petitioner, Mr. Alimi Ambali Oladejo claimed that there was not enough evidence linking him with any fraud during that period as alleged, that the panel based its judgment on the semblance between his handwriting signature and those on the withdrawal checks, leaflets, and deposit slip of Microfinance Bank in Ekiti. That during the period in question, Ikole Ekiti Zonal Revenue Collection Office, which he superintended on, was not indicted. Hence, no basis for his invitation to appear before the panel in the first instance. That all the alimis that operated accounts with the Microfinance Bank in Ekiti, none of these was the same with Oladejo. He averred that he was this submission responded. The respondent made the following submissions: that the petitioner was part of the syndicate that diverted funds to account. That various fictitious accounts were opened in the Microfinance Bank in Ekiti and Ulayin Microfinance Bank in Ado Ekiti in connivance with the officials of these two banks. The respondent further stated that these accounts were opened and operated by fraudulent purposes by the syndicate group. That the arrangement was syndicated as 8,703,000 was credited to the petitioner's name, that is Alimi Ambali Oladejo. That the manager of Ekiti Microfinance Bank colluded with the syndicate to perpetrate this fraud. That the handwriting and signature of the petitioner was similar to the one found on those checks, withdrawal slips, and other bank documents tendered before the panel of investigation.
So saying you should increase your volume.
Okay, thank you. The evidences tendered against the petitioner before the panel were weighty and substantial, and therefore there was no miscarriage of justice as being alleged. Observations and findings. The committee took time to study the documents tendered and considered the oral presentation made by both parties, prompting the committee to observe as follows. The first petitioner, Mr. Babayemi Michael Ojo, was indicted by 2010 Auditor General's report. He appeared before the panel of investigation and he was found culpable of diverting Ekiti State government fund to a private account. He was queried by the Civil Service Commission, which he responded to before his dismissal. His bone of contention is that his name was not properly arranged as Babayemi Michael Ojo, but wrongly written as Ojo Michael Babayemi. That the letter was meant for Ojo Babayemi of a different grade level. The committee observed that there was only one Babayemi Ojo in Ekiti State Civil Service during the period under consideration. Though the respondent made mistakes in the arrangement of his name and designation, the fact remains that he was the only Babayemi Michael Ojo and Ojo Michael Babayemi that appeared before the probe panel, the only Babayemi Ojo that was queried, and the only Babayemi Ojo that worked and collected revenue on behalf of Ekiti State government in Ido-Osi local government during the period under consideration. Aside, some of the official correspondences with him had Ojo Michael Babayemi, and he never protested the anomaly. Committee further observed that the petitioner based his argument on technicalities as civil service had only Babayemi Michael Ojo or Ojo Michael Babayemi during the period under review. If the letter was not meant for him, why did he collect the letter? He ought to have rejected it on the premise that it was not meant for him and that the letter did not bear his accurate designation. The petitioner had written several appeals to the Civil Service Commission pleading for clemency, but his request was not granted owing to lack of merit. On the second petitioner, Mr. Alimi Ambali Oladejo, the committee observed as follows: that the petitioner was also indicted by the annual Auditor General's report of 2010. He appeared before the State Panel of Investigation into the loss and diversion of government funds. That the panel indicted him on the strength of available evidence against him. that the fictitious accounts bearing alimi were opened for the diversion of government funds, and several withdrawals totaling 8.7 million were made from these accounts in connivance with the microfinance bank officials. That there was a resemblance in the petitioner's handwriting and signature with those on documents with the microfinance bank in Ekiti, which were used by other alimis to make deposits and withdrawals from these fictitious accounts. Both petitioners are just desperate to explore every available opportunity to wriggle out of the mess they created for themselves, born out of inordinate greed. Conclusion: the committee was painstaking in its consideration of the evidences, documents, and oral presentation made by the petitioners and respondents. Both parties were allowed to make their presentations in English, Yoruba, or Ekiti dialect in the spirit of fair hearing and to forestall miscarriage of justice. Recommendation. After due consideration of the evidences tendered before the committee by both parties, the committee wishes to recommend the following. 1. That the dismissal verdict handed down to the two petitioners should be sustained, as not enough evidence were presented before the committee to show that there was miscarriage of justice to the petitioners by the respondents. That the arguments canvassed by the two petitioners were spurious, misleading, and should be discountenanced. 2. That the respondent in her subsequent correspondences with civil service should ensure that names, designations, and addresses are properly and accurately spelled out to prevent erring civil servants from hiding under technicalities and frivolities in writing petitions. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. The committee members are Ayodeji Adegbite, the chairman, Honorable Elijah Miriam Ogunlade, vice chairman, Honorable Batunde Oke, member, Honorable Jacob Awoni, member, Honorable Yabo Fakunle Okeme, member, and Adewale Adeleye, committee clerk. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I so submit.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Before we comment on the document, can we have the leader move a motion for its adoption? It has not been adopted, please. Yes. Leader of the House.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My dear colleagues, I'm Honorable Tolu Lokwaege, representing the Southwest Constituency 2. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to move a motion that this Honorable House adopts the report of the Committee on Public Petition titled Appeal for Review of My Wrongful Dismissal from the Ekiti Civil Service by Messrs. Babayemi Michael Ojo and Alimian Bali Oladeji as a working document of this Honorable House. I so move.
All right, any seconder? Yes, I call on Honorable Alhaja Miriam Ogunlade. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and distinguished colleagues. I rise this afternoon to second the motion moved by the majority leader of the House to adopt this document as a working paper of this House. Thank you, sir.
Document. Which document?
The petition titled Appeal for the Review of Wrongful Dismissal from the Ekiti State Civil Service.
Press yes. And if you're against, press no. All right, the yes have it. And that vote shows someone has just joined us. Okay, Honorable Odebumi, you are welcome. Yes, now we can take comments. Right Honorable Akim Jamiu.
Honorable Speaker, I'm Right Honorable Akim Jamiu. I represent the Republic for the Constituency 2. Let me start by commending the committee on public petitions. I'm very proud of them. Honestly, as I was reading the report, before I got to the conclusion, I was already boiling, because we should not encourage this kind of frivolous petitions in this house. It's good that the committee gave them fair hearing, but next time, you shouldn't even get to this stage. I see this as a sheer waste of time of the committee. They have better things to do. Since you have listened to them, you should have known this is what you call Ogbojuole syndrome. Yes, it's Ogbojuole syndrome, because they just believe, people just believe that, well, once you know one or two people, you can tip them and they will, and it's the same people will go to town and say, assembly, we should not encourage this kind of thing, because an audit report, thank God, Mr. Speaker is an auditor. An audit report is always not frivolous. When you have been indicted, and look at their defense, look at everything, very watery. I was waiting. So I'm very happy that the committee at the end of the day did justice by dismissing this. And I urge my colleagues that we should also dismiss it. And this should discourage others. How do you now want to use technicality? You are not Baba Yemi Ojo, you are Ojo Ambali, you are Ambali Alimi, you are Oladejo. What's the meaning of that? You are being indicted, you stole. So we should invite them back. They should restate them so that they can continue their stealing. No, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Tundedo.
To Right Honorable Speaker for considering me for my submission. Distinguished member of Ekiti State House of Assembly, I also rise to commend the Committee on Public Petitions. I've done a very good job. And then I want also to support the submission of the last speaker in total. Mr. Speaker, as much as I do that, I also want to say that if we should allow this type of people to go unpunished, then any other person in the future may come around to steal and believe that the penalty will be sacked. Mr. Speaker, I believe you, not even believe, I know you are a barrister at law. And we have very many legal practitioners here. I want to believe this kind of people should have been prosecuted. By now, Mr. Speaker, they should be behind bars rather than coming to petition the body that has even allowed them to escape the punishment of the heinous act they have committed, Mr. Speaker. On this note, I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that if possible, these people should be called back, prosecuted, and make sure they go to jail, because they are part of the problem we are experiencing in Nigeria today. These are the people that embezzle the money that should have been accrued to the pocket of the state by one means. Mr. Speaker, this type of people should not be allowed to go free. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is my submission.
Today, I believe that is a proposal from you. If I'm correct, your submission, your last submission, is a proposal for us to consider. Yes. All right. Honorable Babafemi Fatula, Ikole 1, that wonderful local government.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Honorable Femi Fatula, representing the good people of Ikole Consensus 1. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my voice to commend the committee for the human job they have done. But I want to also say that these petitioners, to support Honorable Idowu, that this petitioner should also be invited and to refund this money back to Ekiti covers. Mr. Speaker, if you encourage just ordinary sanctions as dismissal, that has not stopped people from stealing. We should also add that this money be refunded back to Ekiti State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Patula, for your submission, there is another proposal that that the state government should recover the said lost fund. Honorable Femi Akindele, then I take, after you, I take the minority leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Femi Olanrewaju Akindele. Right Honorable Speaker, let me join earlier speakers to salute the courage of the chairman of this committee and even members of the committee. I want to say kudos to them for not for the fact that they have not caved in, the fact that they have not even submitted themselves to the lobby and emotional and sentiment attachment of these chiefs. Let me sound raw a bit, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, however, in the submission of all these persons, I would have loved to be fair to them by calling them suspects. But according to this document and document before this one, they have been indicted and they have even accepted the indictment. Because writing for the indictment, for their previous indictment to be upturned means that they have accepted that one previously. Right Honorable Speaker, rather than them to even show remorse and exhibit that courage that thief on the right side of Jesus Christ exhibited, celestially speaking this time around, that thief confessed and owned up that he was a robber. And at that point in time, all his sins was forgiven. And he was promised heaven immediately. And even in the spirit of Ramadan, we're in the month of Ramadan, where all sins are forgiven, all manner of sins, without exception. This is the month of Ramadan. These people, rather than keying themselves into such opportunity, they came up with frivolous, frivolous arguments. They were so petty. They were so. They further demonstrated that they are robbers, pen robbers, armed robbers in a way. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to support, not just support. I want this House, in addition to all other proposals, to adopt the recommendation of this committee on page 7 of the report. Right Honorable Speaker, I want us to adopt this recommendation in addition to other proposals, so that this will serve as deterrence to all other petitioners out there that are looking for soft landing in the House of Assembly. This one will send a signal to them that the people that are here, they are upright ones. They are not the ones that will even cave in to any of their sentiments. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity.
Yes, the minority leader, Honorable Oladele Olaoye Ogushakin, Ekiti East 1.
Speaker, I still remain my humble self, Honorable Ogushakin Olaoye. I represent the good people of Ekiti East Constituency 1. I would like to support the 3 last speakers that these fraudulent people should be prosecuted. And I also want to implore the state government to take as a necessary action moving forward, coupled with the Civil Service Commission, to prosecute this kind of people who we put in public trust area with funds of the state government, diverting over 10,500,000 naira into their pocket, and still have the confidence of coming to this House, writing for a redress of this issue. I will want to implore the Honorable House to recover all this money and probably garnish their properties if they have one in the course of recovering this money to the government. I so submitted. Thank you.
Vote. And my first comment is to commend this committee on public petition, for a job well done. We must commend them. We must commend them for their level of professionalism. I appreciate you for your dedication. I'd also appreciate you for your thoroughness. The report cannot be faulted. You did a great job, but I am not also surprised. Why am I not surprised? It is an open testament that members of Ekiti State House of Assembly, the 7th Assembly, are men that understand their onions. They know their onions. They are dedicated. They are brilliant. They are cerebral. So I am not surprised that we are shunning out this type of report. And that is why I am happy that today I am a member of the 7th Assembly, and I'm glad to preside over this wonderful house. So on that note, I will want the leader this time around to come up with the resolutions. And let's see, can you quickly read out the resolutions? And don't forget the suggested resolutions from members. Some mentioned that they should be prosecuted. Some requested that the government should ensure total recovery. But also don't forget, in law, what we call double jeopardy. So let's look at that. Thank you. So that we don't allow them to suffer double jeopardy. If you want to go after them to be prosecuted, then the recovery. We have, please go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My dear colleagues, I'm Honorable Torilo Kwaige. I represent the Southwest Constituency 2. After all these debates, the recommendation from the committee is that the dismissal verdict handed down to the petitioners should be sustained as not enough evidence were presented before the committee to show that there was miscarriage of justice to the petitioners by the respondent, that the argument canvassed by the two petitioners were spurious, misleading, and should be discontinuous. 2, that the respondent in a subsequent correspondence with civil servants should ensure that names, designations, and addresses are properly and accurately spelled out to prevent any civil servants from hiding under technicalities and frivolities in writing petitions. 3, that such petitions as termed frivolous should not be entertained forthwith by this House. 4, that the appellants should be made to repay all stolen funds totaling 10,500,000. 5, that the House should prosecute.
Not the House, state government.
That the state government should prosecute
through the Ministry of Justice.
Through the Ministry of Justice, and recover all these funds, and if no funds available, should garnish their properties in replacement.
Thank you. Thank you, Leader of the House. I put a question, and I'm going to take all the resolutions together, then we vote with our pad. Please ensure the pad is working. Well, if you are in support, one, that the recommendations by the Committee on Public Petition become the resolution of this House, together with the amendment as made by the leader, vis-a-vis that the dismissal verdict handed down to the two petitioners, that is Messrs. Babayemi Michael Ojo and Alimi Ambali Oladejo, be sustained as there were no enough evidence presented before the committee, that is before the House now, to show there was a miscarriage of justice to them. Then, 2, that the government of Ekiti State, through the Ministry of Justice, should prosecute both Mr. Michael Babayemi Ojo and Ambali Oladejo. 3, that government should also make all efforts to recover all the fund in quote, totaling 8.7 million naira, fraudulently diverted by these by the 2 petitioners be recovered, and that lastly, that the respondent, that is Ekiti State Civil Service Commission, in a subsequent correspondences with our staff, that is the civil servant, should ensure that names, designations, and addresses are properly and accurately spelled out to prevent erring civil servants from hiding under technicalities and frivolities in writing petitions. Press yes, but if you are against, press no. Okay, the yes have it. It's a unanimous vote. Meanwhile, there is an error on this because of the viewers at home. It was factory setting an error, not submit. For us, it is not submitted and not submit, but it is a factory error. To be, if it is possible to be corrected, we will do it, but we'll be looking for how to do the correction for now. Honorable, just so you call out, what is it? Is it
No, just an observation.
Observations.
Yes.
What are you observing?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Tell me what you are observing first.
Yes, on this, our electronic voting system.
Okay.
Since we started, it has been reported 13, it has been reporting 13 votes consistently.
No, it reported 14, the other one.
But we are 17, 16, 17. Someone joined us making...
Some people don't vote. That means they abstain. Thank you.
The number of people has been abstaining. Who are they?
If you don't press, it won't come. So only 13, there was a time we have 13-1, there was a time we have 13-0, there was a time we have 13-0, and there was a time we have 14.
But we have looked around, almost all of us have been participating.
Honorable Joba, just so you call out, please can you sit down? It means some people don't vote. And why we now have 13-0 for you to know, before Honorable, hold on please, before Honorable Odebumi came in, we were having 13 votes. By the time he came in, Honorable Takwalonga was still around, that time we had 14 votes. In the moment Honorable Takwalonga left, we had 13 votes. It means that it's either some people are not voting. Last week, we were having 19 votes. So it wasn't 13. So it's number of people that pressed, that voted. And that, you see, it is allowed that even when you are seated, you can decide not to vote. And that is exactly, Honorable Joba, please, I'm still talking. Please, you have not been recognized. You cannot be interjecting. You are not in palace. So, as I was saying, even Even in IE, you can decide not to vote. You abstain, you can decide not to do anything. So what is important is those who voted. And those who voted at 13, for example, in the last votes, and 13 against 0, no other person votes, and the IS have it. Well, I will allow you, because of people who are also watching. That's why I'm going to take this last comment from you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You are very correct with your submissions, sir. But we also use this avenue to educate ourselves because it's a new system that we have. Yes, because it's a new system that we have adopted. So it is also proper to educate ourselves on the usage of this. There is a button if you want to abstain. We can't be here and be voting and be having 14 while we are 17 in number. It is confusing. If you want to say no, there is a button there. If you want to abstain, there is a button there. You must participate. Abstinence is participation, but it must be recorded. So our vote, yes plus no plus abstinence, must equal to the number of us in this allo chamber. That is why we are transparent and we are making proper use of this system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let me just give you an analysis now. Look to the screen. If you count the number there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 26. If you see the green line, those are the people that voted. I didn't want us to bring out the name. We can bring out the names because the pad with you, you have your name. Those green that you see are the people that voted. The blue there has the pad here with him, but did not also sign in. Why the rest? Okay, that is there. Why the rest did not participate? And that is why you have it. Green now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, as you can see. Those green are those that voted. This person did not sign in. Why the rest you see blank? Did not even sign in at all, did not even do anything at all. Very simple. It's technology. But if you want the names, but we'll not do that now. So, but please, I also want to encourage us to make use of our pad. The first time when you are online, you press OK. When you press OK, the pad will come with sign in. You sign in. Then for votes, it will say, please vote. So you either press yes, no, or abstain. You can press yes, no, or abstain. There is still another level that I have not taken us to. Rather than raising our hands, we can even use pad to raise hands. And that is the hands you see there. But why I'm not using it yet is that we have not, because it's going to come with number. We'll tag you with 1, 2, 3, 4. So by the time I see 11 raising hand, I can know the person who is also doing that. But we are not doing that yet. So you can press yes, no, or you abstain. But what happened in the last vote was those people neither press yes, nor press no, nor abstain. And that was why the number you have was 13. Had they been the press abstain, I am not voting, it would have also, but they didn't vote, they didn't even register at all. So they were not registered as to vote. So please, I want to also encourage us so that when we are doing this in counting, if you are not interested in voting, just abstain. Press abstain, I am not interested. Or no, yes. I think that is okay. I know that what you want to bring out is for the purpose of education. And it's always good that we are all here. 13 voted on the last vote. For adjournment, all of us must vote. Only that Lord does not permit. If all of us didn't vote, we would have remained here, but we will not do that. You can abstain, you can vote no, you can vote yes, but always know that the presiding officer has the final say. If you lie, press no. The highest will have that one. Thank you. Thank you. So on that note, the resolution has been passed, and I call on the clerk. Please don't forget. Let's transmit this immediately. Leader of the House.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues. It's been a wonderful day, and I wish I desire to have more of this with you beautiful people. I'm Honorable Tolu Lokwege, and I represent the Southwest Constituency too. Right Honorable Speaker, on the order of the day, the next item is adjournment. Having exhausted the items for today, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to move a motion that this House adjourns until Thursday, 14th of March, 2024. I so move.
Any seconder? Okay. I call on Honorable Tony Adaramudu.
Powerful Speaker, my name is Honorable Tony Kende Adramodu, representing the good people of Ekiti Southwest Constituency 1. I hereby support a second motion that we should adjourn till Thursday, 14th of March. Thank you.
No, sorry, please. Adjustment on that. Leader of the House. We'll adjourn till next week, Tuesday. So we'll just do the adjournment. Though I will do that during question, when question is put. Let me just also announce, though not a very pathetic one, as we are coming in, I received a news that one of us, Honorable Babatunde Lawrence, who was around in the morning, because we were together in the office. I always discovered that suddenly I did see him, lost his mother-in-law. May the Lord grant her eternal rest. Then after the service, after the session, after plenary, let's converge at the Speaker's office for a briefing. On that note, I put the question that, are you observing? Okay, observation.
Honorable Babatunde Lawrence, and I begin to look around me. If I have lost my mother, I begin to think, have I lost my mother?
Well, but impliedly,
you have to clarify.
Impliedly, it can be inferred. I said Honorable Babatunde Lawrence was with us in the morning, but suddenly he was not around. So impliedly, you can know that is Honorable Babatunde Lawrence, okay? But the two of you bear the same Babatunde Lawrence. So, you see, anytime I want to also do that mischief, I call on Babatunde Lawrence. But I am actually referring to Babatunde Lawrence, okay, Ikerewan. So, on that note, I put a question that if you are in support, that this I'll do adjourn till Tuesday, Tuesday, the 19th day of March, 2024. Press yes. If you are against, press no. And if you don't even know where you belong, abstain. Now, 8 voted yes, 4 no, 1 person abstained. Honorable Joba, you can see that it's working. Now people are getting to use. So we have about, how many people now? Still 13. Some people are still not using their pad. So, either you voted yes or you voted no or you have abstained. What I have as the result is that the yes have it.